Hello and welcome to White Not Mackay. It's Friday the 7th of March. Welcome on board. Lots to get through today. We've got a wee promo that you've requested coming up towards the end of the blog, so stay tuned for that. But first of all, what I want to talk about today is a new service that we've launched here on Scotland Today. We're encouraging you, the viewer, to get in touch with any emails, videos, etc. that you may have that you can send to us on your mobile phone. Now, this is something that we've been promoting heavily over the last couple of weeks, and this week we had the perfect example of it. As you may recall, Celtic fans on the way back from Barcelona after the team, they're watching their team play over there. They got trapped in the Pyrenees Mountains. They got caught in a freak snowstorm. They were trapped there, and Some Bright Spark had the great idea to send us his photographs. So we were able to broadcast the news, including his footage as well. So news is ever changing. We certainly probably wouldn't have done this in the last few years, but now we can. We're interactive. It's rolling news. And here to talk to us about it is one of our production team, Tom. Tom, nice to see you. Thanks for coming over to a very messy desk, I have to say. Just picking up on what I was saying there about the Celtic fans having the nous, as it were, to send us in their video footage. Just how valuable is that, the fact that viewers are now willing to do this?
It's incredibly valuable. I think you just have to look at stories over the last few years. If you think about the Glasgow terrorist attacks and the tsunami, a few years before that, I mean, viewers are the first people on the scene of any news story. And I think if you look over the last couple of years with 24-hour news becoming such an important role and demanding footage immediately to try and get it first on, and also technology as well. If you think viewers, virtually everybody's got mobile phones, and if they're there on the scene before anybody else, why not film it? And it's vitally important to us and all news organisations really to get that on.
Well, Neil would agree with this, Neil, my cameraman today, because Neil is used to working to very, very high photographic standards. And, no offence, but the footage that was sent to us the other day, it wasn't quite broadcast standard, but nevertheless, it was broadcast. Are you concerned about the fact that our standards could be compromised slightly?
Not at all. I just think it's good that as a news organisation, as a news programme, you want to be kind of the first there, the first on the scene, especially when a big story breaks. And if that's the viewer, and if the footage that you've got is mobile phone, I think sometimes it can add to the drama of it.
So what kind of stories do you want to hear about?
Anything at all. If you're on a scene of a car crash or a big fire or any kind of incident where police have arrived and there's a bit of drama going on, film it and send it in to us on our website, and we'll try and get it on air.
OK, Tom, many thanks indeed. Well, there's how you do it. If you just click on this icon here, if you've logged on to our website, there's the number 81441. It couldn't be easier, and you never know. Within a few hours, you could be making the news. Tom, nice to have you on board. Thanks for the chat. Now, you've asked to see this promo. We dug it out the library. Thanks to John for doing that. Back to 1999, if I recall. You may recognise a few faces. We'll end the blog here. Have a great weekend and take a look at this.
Scotland has decided. The people have celebrated. Now the hard work begins.
Scientists who created Dolly the sheep are preparing to clone human embryos.
Fears that the empty order book will mean closure.
After a night of torrential rain, Scotland spent the day mopping up. Floods brought chaos to many parts of the country.
Every single person to have a story.
The news is constantly evolving. As stories develop throughout the day, we're first with the facts, and from March the 8th, we're first on the air too.
We're committed to doing the stories that matter to Scotland, the stories that are relevant, the stories that affect you.
Now, the crash story, you may remember this. I think it was the evening of the Norwegian game.
We'll have a morning meeting every day to discuss what's coming up, so there is a big element of pre-planning.
There's a man charged with dangerous driving, so Jeff's going to go to the court. Scotland Today's job is to bring viewers the best, most comprehensive coverage of everything that matters across the country.
Their thought is there might be a risk of compulsory redundancy.
You've got to be ready to respond to the big stories. It can be harrowing, but it's our job to report on Scottish news wherever and whenever it happens. We must be accurate and sensitive. They were all very close friends, and indeed, sadly, two of those who lost their lives were partners.
With so many changes in Scottish politics, it's an exciting time to live and work in Scotland. We want to reflect this and bring you the most up-to-date coverage of the Scottish political scene.
And when the Scottish Parliament meets in Edinburgh for the first time in almost 300 years, we'll be there.
This is your local news, your Scottish news, putting Scotland first.
I'm based here in Edinburgh, and it's my job to cover anything that's happening in the city and in the rest of the Lothians and Fife.
High Court, the star of the show was 60s sex kitten and animal rights campaigner Brigitte Bardot. She was there to tell the Scottish judges that they couldn't put a good dog down.
She's sweet and nice and she's perfect. Well, there are certain stories we know we're going to cover in advance, and this bit of kit here allows us to provide a live link from the location of the story direct to you at home, and believe me, it doesn't half get the adrenaline going.
I think what marks us out is that we've a really strong news team, a group of reporters who understand the changing Scotland.
OK, well, we're joined now by Joyce Maxwell.
And are committed to reporting on the exciting and challenging times we're all living through.
And don't forget the sports news, all the action on the pitch and all the action off it.
He's here for 3 weeks. You've got no clothes, mate.
I have a shower every morning.
Every day we bring you the breaking stories.
It's in everyone's interest that Alec Pat's company from Aberdeen Football Club.
Scotland Today represents much of what I like to think STV is all about. It speaks directly to the audience, it doesn't talk down to them, and it doesn't patronise them.
The report recommends that all critically ill patients should be transferred by well-equipped, experienced and dedicated teams.
People who work in Scotland Today understand Scotland, and they understand the Scottish News agenda, other news programmes and other TV stations, with their news agenda set for them.
It is going to be digitised. 1 minute it's on air, 1 minute.
Our job is about giving the viewer up-to-the-minute news.
30 seconds on air, 30.
That's why the move to 6 o'clock is so important. We'll have the Scottish news first, often as it's breaking, and we'll always aim to give you the complete picture.
On air in 10.
Tighter deadlines, much more pressure.
Pressure? What pressure?
It's going to be great.
Putting Scotland first. Scotland Today.
1